Welcome everybody to Talladega Superspeedway for the second round of the Palm Rat Road and Plate Truck Series. I am Sean Signori up here in the booth with my main man Big Al and Cam Gillens behind the scenes. Second round of the season coming up here after a chaotic race last week in San Diego. The chaos, it's not going to subside. It might even triple fold here tonight at the Super Speedway that's home to some of NASCAR's and stock car racing's most thrilling and heart-pounding moments. Big Al, how you doing tonight? Looking forward to this calamity that's about to take place?
Yeah, actually, I am. I am in Alabama. That's right. That's where we're going to be for the next 2 weeks. And tonight, well, we're back at Talladega, and I'm going to tell you what, everyone's feeling it. People at home are feeling it. I'm feeling it. You're feeling it. The drivers are feeling it. They even wrote a song about it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Talladega in the middle of Alabama, right in Big Al country, a little bit under 3 miles long. Got 4 turns out here like all the ovals. And tonight our format going to be a 15-minute sprint race, an invert. I believe the top 15 going to be invert tonight. So it's going to be a random invert every week. But to get ahead of some of the problems from last week, we're going to establish it before the server opens. So I believe the top 15 is going to be inverted tonight. And then we're going to wrap it up with a 45-minute feature. And we're going to get to our stories of the race tonight. First one out there, patience versus aggression. Big Al, you know as well as anybody, on these plate tracks, you got to time those moves and make them decisive. But you also have to have that little bit of patience in your back pocket if you're going to want to get to the end and not cause any sort of incidents.
You're going to have a lot of bit of patience, especially tonight.
Most definitely, especially this early in the season. And speaking of working together, teamwork, our number 2 story of the night. You can't get it done here alone at Talladega and Daytona. These types of drafting tracks, sometimes you have to work with your teammates. Sometimes you got to work with whoever's behind you. You don't even have a choice with who you have to work with towards the end of these races. You just got to find somebody that would find a back bumper or a front bumper and make it work.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there, because at the end of this thing, that's when it's going to matter who your dance partner is. You might not be dancing with the one that brung you, but you're going to have to definitely find the one that's going to help you get into the victory circle there.
That's definitely true. And pit stops and that feature race is always playing a factor. Well, you know, we had a couple races last year where fuel mileage played a big role at the end of these plate races. And in that feature race, a green flag pit stop could be on the table if we don't get any caution flags. How treacherous is this pit road entry here, Big Al?
This is everything. If there's one track where pit for race for show, pit for dough comes into mind, is Talladega. And that's going to be the big story, because that's the one time these drivers are going to have to bring it down pit road. Now, the one thing about it is, because it's such a long track, on the cautions, that's going to be where you get the most time to say, fix your screw-ups.
Yeah, there's going to be some damage out there. We can only assume of. It could go nice and clean and green, but Talladega just brings that aura of the big one. That big one can happen at any moment from lap 1 to the start-finish line at the end. And what will you do to win? The final story of the night. We've seen some big moments in Talladega, even here in real life. Think about Carl Edwards going through the catch fence here to get Brad Keselowski his first win in 2009. What will you do to possibly take home the trophy here tonight at Talladega? I know Big Al's got some tricks up his sleeve come through that tri-oval.
Hey, you bet you believe it. I'm going to tell you what, I'm not the only one. I guarantee you there's going to be about 25 trucks down there tonight that, if they are given the opportunity, they're going to show you exactly what they would do to win this thing here.
Oh, most definitely. I know I'd wreck you for the win. I'm sure the feeling's mutual.
You have to catch me first, kid.
Yeah, that's my problem. Sometimes I'm a little slow. We're going to go over to our point standings after the first round in San Diego last week. And it was an interesting round, Big Al. We had ourselves a little bit of calamity in that sprint race. But in the feature was even more. We had 3 caution flags in the feature, and taking home the big points of the night was Joseph Cline with a pretty clutch victory there. Jimmy Moore in second, right there on his heels, 4 points back. Michael McCoy, who I believe won the sprint race last week in San Diego, in third. Ryan Campbell fourth. Chase Berry fifth. and down through the rest of that top 20 out there, with Aaron Bray sitting 32 points back in 20th. Big Al early in the season. All these guys have a shot at this point after only one round.
And I want to tell you what, there's not a better track in the world to test your luck than Talladega. I mean, this is probably, we're going to have somebody probably win here tonight that's never won one, because they got to avoid the big one. That's what we're all going to be looking to see, but that's what they got to flee from.
Yeah, these plate races, and even in this league where we have such a high standard of the road course racers, these plate races, they spell opportunity for some of these guys who might not have the speed on the road courses to get it done week in and week out. But here, everybody's practically got the same speed, and a lot of luck plays into it. So it's a big opportunity for anybody to potentially even challenge for the championship just based off these plate tracks alone.
Yeah, man, it's like holidays at the car lot, right? All of the crazy people come out for plate racing, and everybody's a hero here. Everybody's just waiting to get their name up in the press box. But I'm going to tell you who's going to be busy. That's old Leroy up there in that flag stand. We're going to be watching out for him tonight. I think he's going to be eating cold hot dogs on this one.
Yeah, we might be having some yellow flags tonight, but Talladega is also one of those races that brings out the green flag runs. If these guys can kind of get together and have a nice little green flag run, especially in that feature race, we might be looking at more laps than what we got in San Diego last week.
Yeah, amen. And the big thing's going to be drivers are just going to have to go out there and be patient. You know, you put it up on the board. There's one of the talking points of this thing, but patience is going to be key. Without it, you're going to find yourself in bad situations. And in order to be available to win this thing at the end, you got to continuously keep yourself out of bad situations. I mean, all night drivers got to keep that head on a swivel, got to know exactly where he's at, who's around him, and where his escape routes are. You know, you never want to get yourself in a position where you're kind of boxed in and driven directly into that wall. So we're going to see how it plays out, man. But I guarantee it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, talking about putting yourself in a bad position, that happens a lot here at Talladega, and a lot of times it's outside your control. You can have, lanes coming from behind you, making it 3 and 4 wide, and you also have to remember that as we get down towards the end, 10 laps to go, 5 laps to go, that patience, that plays a factor, but that's still a long way here at Talladega. 3 miles around, 3-4 laps, it's 3-4 minutes that you can potentially get from the back to the front. We've seen it to happen in these races, and we've seen it happen in real life.
Amen. These simulations are no exception, baby. There are no exceptions. Looks like we're gridding up.
Yeah, gridding up right now. We're going to go down to our starting grid for our sprint race tonight. On the pole, we've seen this guy time and time again run really well at these plate tracks. I've probably seen him win about 3 or 4 plate races, and that's Robert Brobst in that 5 car. That's going to be a little bit of a sleeper pick tonight, even though I think he's probably one of the favorites here, just based on his track record at these racetracks. Starting next to him on the outside row, continuing that momentum after a big win in the feature race in San Diego, Joseph Cline in that 14. Starting in third, Michael McCoy. Doesn't have that experience on the ovals, is super sharp on the road courses, but on these ovals, anybody can get it done here at Talladega, and he's got the speed in the seat. Starting third, next to him, Sean Johnson in the 32 truck, had a great run here in our final race at Talladega last season. Almost got that victory. He's one to watch tonight. Dan Ott in that great-looking 29 truck, going to be starting fifth. And next to him, Mark Royce in the 44, who was our winner at Daytona last season. Starting in the 7th position is going to be Ryan Campbell, our second-place points finisher, coming off of a good run last week. Pretty steady. He's going to be in the top 5 in points, building off of last season. Sam Stoner, a fan favorite in that 65, going to be starting in 8th. 9th place, our new driver to the series, made a big impact with a big statement last week, and that's going to be the 230 of Jerry Schnackle. And starting next to him, 35 of Wayne Garland.
That's going to put in 11th place Mr. Brandon Carl, breaking out that 77, getting it done. He's going to be joined by Zachary Mitchell on his outside. Next, you're going to have Josh Coppernoll. He's going to have Sean A. Campbell in that 54 machine starting on his outside. 15th place shows Chris Winslow with Benson Beaver starting 16th in the number 1 machine. And then you're going to have Laura Wiseman and Steve Vest starting 17th and 18th. Top 20 is going to be rounded out by Jay Bast and Andrew White.
21st going to be Aaron Brea, mainstaying in the series, and our other Ride the Dente truck out there tonight, Tom Waite, starting 22nd. 23rd is going to be our third Ride the Dente truck out there tonight, Mike Thompson in the 115, and Chase D. Manning starting 24th. Johnny Rapp starting 25th, Chase Berry starting 26th, and rounding out the field tonight is going to be Jimmy Moore. Can he come from the back to get the job done here at Talladega? Coming through the tri-oval now to get the green flag. I'd say that timing's pretty good. Coming down to start our 15-minute sprint race. We got it wrapped up at 16 laps here tonight. Robert Ropes taking us down for the green flag. Joseph Cline trying to get that run out here on the outside. Who is going to win off of turn 2 is going to be the big question.
Yeah, green flags out at Talladega. That's a big thing as the 5 truck comes down along the low side there trying to make it happen. That's Robert Brose. You called him early. He's got the 14 truck, though, leading that high line, trying to get it organized and situated because, hey, look, 14, 15, 16 laps at Talladega, that's a shootout.
Definitely a shootout, but when does that patience go away and fade away as you see Joseph Cline pull down in front of the 5 truck to take the lead? Starting the first lap here at Talladega, how he ended the last lap in San Diego, up front in first position. But here comes Sean Johnson on that outside with a big run. Got help behind from the 44. He was one of the sleeper picks tonight, and I believe coming to the line, he might be scored as the leader. It's going to be close. That time around, I believe Joseph Cline led the first lap tonight, but it was by a hair. I wonder if that's how they're going to.
I doubt it. First lap's also going to be the slowest laps as now these guys are starting to get that freight train wound up, and you even see the third line starting to develop way up high somewhere coming from the south. Now that bottom line, the 14, he sees the pressure, he feels the pressure. He's got to have to stick it to that bottom line, and he does, trying to get his second lap led on the board.
Robert Ropes, a really good pusher, putting that nose to the back bumper of the 14. And you were right, Big Al. That third line is forming. Zachary Mitchell leading that third line. Right behind him is going to be Benson Weaver, and Jimmy Moore starting last place. Has already made some pretty big gains here on the first couple laps. Only 16 laps. It's still a long way here at Talladega, but you still want to kind of get ahead of about half of that pack and to really put yourself in position to possibly finish up front here in this sprint race.
And the best way you're going to be able to see it is first you've got to test it, and these guys are doing just that. Still just 5 trucks. Looks like it's starting to break up now. But going to be more life ahead there a little bit further down the line. These guys still trying to figure it out, but the bottom line says you guys do that. We're going to go ahead and head on to the house. Yeah, 77 truck, he's popped up out of line, though. Going to be the one to watch.
Yeah, 77 had no friends up there at the moment as he goes to the outside of Ryan Campbell. That bottom line had some big momentum coming off into as the top kind of was a little disorganized there with that third lane starting to peak up. You got guys from the second line moving up into the third lane, and it really kills that momentum as Sean Johnson falls all the way back to outside the top 5. He crossed the line in 7th. But here they come. It's a real big back and forth here. Jimmy Moore still moving up in there as he gets inside the top 10 for the first time tonight. Only took him a couple laps to go from dead last up into that top 10 position. Showing a lot of prowess here on the plate races, but he just hasn't had that luck in these races as that aggression comes around and bite. You know, you can really be aggressive moving up through the pack, but it also kind of puts you in a position to get involved in some of those incidents as you see the leaders up front, nice and steady in a line. That first side-by-side battle is going to be for about 5th spot.
I tell you what, this is not the time to become complacent as these drivers got to do everything they can to keep this together. That's going to be the big thing right now. As you see that 35 truck, he actually got to jump out of the dirty air. That put him up top now. That top line still running but it can only get about 4 or 5 trucks together there. You know that's not the number it's going to take. So we're still going to continue to watch the formation of that, because I got a feeling these guys will be coming to the front sometime here before this period's over.
Here comes that second line, Big Al. Ryan Campbell getting the push from the 77 of Brandon Carl. Sean Johnson, Sam Soner behind them. They are up there now challenging for the lead, and it's kind of a back and forth. One line pulls away, and then the Giraffe sucks that top line back up to the front. And here comes Campbell. We have yet to see him take a checkered flag in this series last season, but he came home away with that second place in the points, still looking for that first win. But here comes Brandon Carl trying to move up to the top side and make it 3 wide for the lead. At the line, Campbell is going to be the leader, but is he going to be able to get to that 3 wide outside? Whoa, big run there for Andrew White into 3. You see these guys are moving around quite a bit in the pack, Big Al.
Andrew was in that rough air, so to speak, so he dropped up top, and that was the strongest that top line has been all night there. Now more trucks starting to come up, still stuck at 5. That's the cap. They're going to need more to that if they're going to want to get a run on those lower 2 lines. Low line still keeping it going, though, Sean, but you still got that middle line that's just eking to get away.
Caution is out on the speedway. We got a wreck towards the back of the pack. Haven't seen it yet on the king. Mark Royce, one of our favorites for the night. Believe Steve Vest, Jeremy Schnackle also involved. Got a couple trucks there. And check it out here on the replay machine. See some contact there between Sean Campbell and Schnackle. That sends the 44 up into the wall. Johnny Rapp in the 52 also involved. It's not what these guys needed here early. Caution is out with about 10 laps to go here in the sprint race. Check it out again here. Yeah, that might be what we needed as the 54. You see the contact right there, just up off the bottom a little bit, sends the 234 line for a ride, and then some innocent bystanders up there behind him in the 44 and 52. But I gotta say it, Big Al, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, not a good look on the 54, though. You gotta stay in your lane, but a lot of these guys I found they can't keep a job, drink, or lane, right? They can't hold it down. Hey, but you know what? We gotta take a brief step away, get a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back here with continued coverage. And we are back right here, still under pacing conditions. First caution out of the night. It's lap 7 of 16, almost halfway through this first race here tonight. This is going to be that heat race that we're looking for, and I think the inversion is going to be at number 15. So far, clean racing. Everybody's doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, but then we had the guy that kind of came up a little high, and that's just going to change the entire running right now. A lot of trucks sent behind the wall there. A lot of guys just kind of stopping to check it out. But, hey, we're still good. Getting ready to get clean and green here anytime now.
You talked about that pit road right there being so long and these pace laps being so long. The damage didn't seem to be too bad for a lot of these drivers. So I don't think that any of these boys are going to be out of the running for this race and even the feature. Well, the feature, everybody gets a clean truck, but right now I think everybody's going to have still a pretty good shot to get that damage fixed and get back out there.
Yeah, and with less than 10 laps to go at Talladega, it's go time, baby. You got to get out there. You got to get aggressive. You got to push the limits. You're not going to get to the end of this thing by sitting back there in 13th or 14th. You're going to have to get out there and take some big chances, even if that means moving lines a couple of times. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be worth it because, hey, the bird with his mouth closed in the back, he is not going to get paid. He's going to get socked in and sacked.
You are the king of analogies, Big Al, I must say.
I'm the king of something, all right.
King of something, yeah. It's good to be the king of something. Big pal. Yeah, it could just be a pawn or a jester like me and Cam.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, up front,
I
lining
love
up
it.
for this restart. Joseph Cline kind of been the truck in control since the start of this race. Ryan Campbell on the outside. Robert Brope's going to be lining up in third. Brandon Carl in fourth. Kind of looks like how they were when the caution came out, all lined up in their respective positions. But as we saw, Big Al, on the initial start, that top line, it had some big momentum coming down the backstretch.
Indeed, it did. And once that high line gets organized, because you know it's going to, I'm expecting it to come up about 4 to go. And then that high line, a lot of folks are going to start investing in that. A lot of guys that kind of avoided it earlier on in the race are going to realize, hey, man, we got nothing to lose here except for a shot at maybe getting a win here at Talladega. Even if it's a heat race, a win's a win.
Most definitely coming down. 8 laps to go. Joseph Cline in the 14. Trying to build off that momentum from last week. A good jump out of the 14. Robert Ropes right on his bumper, but there is a gap behind Robert. That top lane just a little bit more organized here as they get up through the gears.
Watching that high line right now. Actually, you're watching that double yellow. And that double yellow is not your friend here at Talladega. You got to keep it above it because that thing causes your truck to do crazy things. But you're still watching my main man into 18. That's Ryan Campbell, and he is the guy right now that is totally leading the middle of the fray. But the one truck's on his way, Benson Weaver. He's got a couple buddies looking for a couple more. And for the first time, I think that's a 6-truck line on the top side here.
Yeah, that one truck and the 12, they've been up there in that third line practically since the beginning of this sprint race. And they got some big momentum, but they're going to have to check up for Sean Johnson and Brandon Carl, who move out from behind O'Brien Campbell to take away that third line from the one of Benson Weaver. Not what Benson wanted to see, but Brandon Carl with a little bit of an aggressive move coming through the tri-oval there. He's getting a big push from the back of the 32 as they got a little squirrely there coming off of turn 2. You saw it on your sets. 3 wide there for about the third spot. That's going to keep Joseph Cline in control of this race. These guys looking just a little bit better organized this time around. As we come back around to the start-finish line, it's going to be 6 laps to go, Big Al. We're almost done here already.
I'm going to tell you, Joseph Cline knows that his job is only just beginning. As he was sitting in that catbird seat trying to decide if he was going to go low or high, he decided to go back low. But I tell you, he's not committed to the low line. He's going to be committed to the fastest line. And that's what he's waiting to see, because he's definitely going to jump up. Probably not leaving a lot of time, but you know what? He has to, because otherwise he's going to get left out to dry.
You see that top line and the middle line losing some ground to the bottom. As we kind of saw that too on the initial start. About 2 or 3 laps into the run, that bottom line pulled away, but then the tops was able to move back in. Some contact there between Dan Ott and Brandon Carl. That was really, really close there as the 29 trying to get a hold of that wheel. That's definitely what all these guys on the bottom wanted to see. Which one of these racers on the bottom is going to move up and make that line work again. As you see 29 get hooked on the apron. A rough lap for Dan Ott.
Yeah, the 28 truck, though, caused him no other recourse as he hit that double yellow line, caused him to go wonkers, and when the driver goes down, surely he's going to come back up. So he come back up, that hot line starting to get organized. These guys trying to get through the traffic here, but I'm going to tell you, the dirty air in the middle of this thing, wow, just watching these trucks get buffeted, that's a sight to see.
You see 35, Wade Garland moving his way up on the high side. Here comes Brandon Carl through the middle, trying to make a move. We've seen some aggressive moves out of that 77 so far tonight. Really an impressive run out of Brandon. He was in the series last year. Really didn't have many great finishes, but as you see the 14 come up and put a block, that's the first time we've seen him get off the bottom tonight, as it only took about a lap and a half for that top line to really work its way back up to the leaders. Brandon Carl pushing Joseph Cline across the line. Where does he make the move? Trying to go to the outside here with Sean Johnson behind him. What does Robert Brobst do? He's holding steady on the bottom. Is he going to be the beneficiary of this? As Carl goes to the inside of Cline for the position. And now you have Joseph off of the inside for the first time tonight, Big Al.
Yeah, Joseph got to make some serious decisions now because he understands that if he wants to win this thing, he's going to have to do it all by his lonesome because everybody is in it for themselves. If we just are coming up on the line for 3 to go, the worst place to be at Talladega at this place is in lead of the bottom.
Worst place to be sometimes here at Talladega, Big Al, in the medical center. Gladly, we don't have to deal with that here on iRacing as Jimmy Moore now moving his way in that third line up into the top 5, or about the top 10 there. He was in the top 5 a couple seconds ago. As you see that that middle lane really kind of moving around right now with Sean Johnson and Ryan Campbell. They are just not organized enough to really challenge those leaders up front. But Jimmy Moore trying to get that momentum behind him.
Yeah, you still got the 32 Sean Johnson. He's a little iffy in there as well. Not knowing if he's going to come home after work today. You know what I mean? It looks like he went to go get a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk. Mom, I think we got problems.
I think we got problems as well as it is starting to brew as you see 3 and 4 wide throughout the pack. Brandon Carl making a move in front of Sean Johnson on that high line. They've been working together for most of this sprint race, and it was one of our keys is teamwork, finding your dance partner. I believe these two, they've brought each other to the dance. They're going to go home together.
Yeah, that top line still struggling. These guys not able to get anything together. Bobbing and weaving a little bit. They got to get it tighter if they're going to want to have any shot whatsoever of making a legitimate run and giving that 12 truck at least an opportunity to come out on top. He's waiting on anybody to hopefully hop out in front of him to change their luck, as well as the 18 is right now. The bottom line starts to be the place to be.
That white flag going to be waving this time around. Dude, this pack get to the white flag and make it a race to the finish. Joseph Cline, Ben, the dominant truck here at Talladega. You don't really hear those words too often. Robert Gross, Brandon Carl fighting for that second spot behind them. This is not how they are going to finish this. We got 2.66 miles around. White flag is waving. Here comes that run on the outside. Jimmy Moore in that third lane, starting to get a little bit of a run on these guys, and Brandon Carl is to the outside of Cline coming off of turn 2. Just not close enough as they come down the backstretch here. See some more momentum from the bottom here as they are still, though, side by side for the lead up front. Brandon Carl, 32, Sean Johnson. We've seen some big momentum from the top lines coming off of turn 4. Is it going to be enough? Campbell's going to move out in front of Moore, try to get a run here. Cline's going to lead him off of turn 4. Truck in the wall in the back. Where does Robert Ropes make the move? Coming to the checkered flag on the back bump. Middle of the pack. Ropes to the inside. It's not going to be enough. Joseph Cline, the winner of the sprint race. Brope's going to come home in second. McCoy third. Wheat fourth. And Weaver is going to come home fifth as everybody from about fourth on back there in the tri-oval. Big calamity right there. Check that out on the replay screen here in a moment. Man, Big Al, that was definitely a Talladega race.
Yeah, that's what you came for right there. If you got any questions of what you wanted to see, that's the ending that you expected at Talladega. Wow, what a run in the 14 truck. He got it done, leading almost every lap there during that segment and popped up at the right time in order to make sure that he got himself in that winner's circle.
And that is certainly what he did, as we saw a big incident coming through the tri-oval there. It started with Jay Bast. Not sure if we're going to be able to get a replay of that, as the session has switched over already into the pre-race. But with that invert, your pole sitter for the feature is going to be Aaron Bray. But right now, I think we're just going to step away, get a quick word for our sponsors, and we'll be back with the start for the feature race here from Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega here. Going to be kicking off our feature race here in a moment. Big Al, I think you're down there with our second place finisher from the sprint race, Robert Probst in that 5 truck.
That's right, absolutely. Robert Bros, Big Al from the booth. You got me, boss man.
Yeah, buddy, I got you.
I'm going to tell you, it was an awesome race down there. You guys were really giving us a little bit of a snapshot of what we can expect coming up for the main. Were you really were you conservative on that run, or you think you were kind of letting it hang out there a little bit?
With where I was just stuck, I was just cruising around, making laps, trying not to overheat the engine too bad. I mean, that there's got to be more to it, because I don't know how you make a pass, but I'm about to have to find out with the invert.
So I take it it's pretty
Starting
hard to
14th here.
Yeah, I'm taking it was pretty hard to pass and move up in the line.
Yeah, it definitely was. I got shuffled once or twice, and then those guys decided they needed to be in the other lane and have a shot of trying to proceed forward themselves, and it didn't work out for them too hot. And it let me move back up the line. I guess that might be the way to make the pass, is just let everyone else shimmy their way out.
Well, hopefully you got something special up your sleeve here for us as we get into the main. Who you shouting out here for a pretty stellar performance there in the heat race?
I mean, I got to shout out to Mike McCoy. He's trying to figure out these drafting tracks. And he seems to think I've got something figured out, so he just stuck with me, stayed on my bumper, and I pulled him to a third, so he's happy. And then we also just got to shout out the sponsor for the league. You got to get Palm Rat Golf and the UNO podcast to thank you for funding a lot of this.
All right, boss man. Good luck to you here. Can't wait to see where you end up after this one.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
All right. You too, boss. That was Robert Probst, the man with a plan going in the heat too. Sean, what's your plan?
Oh man, my plan, if I'm one of those drivers out there, is to keep the truck in one piece throughout. We got 32 laps here. It's still not a crazy long race here at Talladega, but it's still lots of time to get the moves done, as we saw trucks coming from the back to the front. Gonna run through your top 15 from the invert. Aaron Bray, the lucky winner of the night. He's going to be the pole sitter of this feature race. Starting next to him is going to be Chase Berry in that 17 truck. Behind them is going to be Sean Johnson and Brandon Carl. You saw them working together in the sprint, moving themselves up through the pack, got involved in that last lap crash. They're going to start third and fourth, got some track position that's going to be in their favor right now. Starting fifth and sixth, Wayne Garland and Laura Wiseman. And then behind them, Mike Thompson and Chris Winslow with a pretty good starting position here for the feature race. Andrew White in the 3 truck saw him get into the wall coming off of turn 4 there. He was able to basically limp home and come across inside that top 6 position to start 9th. Dan Ott in the 29 is going to be starting 10th. Benson Weaver came away with a 5th place finish in that sprint race. He's going to be starting in 11th. Tom Wink in 12th. Michael McCoy into 33, going to be 13th. Robert Probst, just talked to him up here in the booth, in 14th. Joseph Cline, the winner from the sprint race, he's going to be starting all the way back in 15th. Big Al, that is not where you're going to want to be. Do you think that 14, did he show enough there in that sprint race? He's going to be able to get to the front?
We'll have to see. Patience is going to be his biggest virtue. You heard it right there from Mr.
Robert Probst.
Probst. This place is hard to pass. Something's got to give.
Yeah, a little bit of intel in our back pocket. The passes are going to be pretty hard to make out here tonight as the green flag waves for Aaron Bray in the 11. Pretty good start out of Chase Berry, but Brandon Carl going to be moving himself all the way up against the wall. It's going to break up that top line just a little bit.
Oh, we're already wrecking.
Trying to get to the back.
To the back of the field.
Yeah. Green flag is still out here waving. It's going to be the 230 of Jeremy Schnackle. Zachary Mitchell also involved, as well as Steve Vest. No caution is out. That was just a little bit of a stack-up gone awry coming into that starting zone there, Big Al. That's not what these guys needed to see.
That felt like your hopes and dreams just spinning out in turn 3.
As you can check it out here on the replay, green flag is still out right now at the moment. As you check it out, what happened to these guys on the replay? Looks like that 230 just getting on the brakes or something a little bit. Maybe missed the shift, or just a little check up in front of him, and then got hit from behind. Zachary Mitchell. You see Sean Johnson also involved in that. Not what these guys needed to see, but guess what? We are still green flag racing up here. Sean Johnson side by side with Chase Berry for the lead. As that top line still pretty hooked up together, Laura Wiseman in the 84 is going to push that 32 up front. Nice and organized here for the moment coming through turns 3 and 4. Maybe that first lap incident might have spooked some of these guys, Big Al. Maybe has them a little holding their breath just a little bit here early on.
Well, don't forget where we're at. These drivers definitely they're definitely aware of the fact that we are still at Talladega, and you're not going to win this thing. Not in the first 2 laps, not in the first 10 laps. Surely there's 32 laps to go in this thing. You're going to have a few stop in there. You got to keep your head on the swivel, man. Stay out of the big one. Don't get clogged up in the middle. And I'm interested to see if the top line can actually get a dose. We got a lap truck coming up here in front of the field.
Yeah, some good trucks in that top line, though, with Dan Ott, Jimmy Moore. I believe that's Robert Brobst, Johnny Rapp, all in that top line. They seem to be working together pretty good right now, but like the 5 truck said, the passes and the momentum's hard to come by. Is that third line? We didn't see much of it up front in the sprint race. Maybe they can pull a little bit of a surprise move on us as that lap truck stays to the inside. Zachary Mitchell. But check up there on the bottom is going to take away some of that momentum. Sean Johnson's going to be the leader at the line, and here comes that third line, Big Al.
Yep, here comes that third line, and it's also going to come Johnson. He's going to have to make a decision now. Is he going to stay up in that middle line? Is he going to drop down to the bottom? I'm glad, though, that the guys up top haven't given up on that high line yet. That's still giving us 3-wide racing at Talladega, and that's still giving us the possibility of excitement.
Yeah, possibility of excitement. I'd say it's a definite of excitement as here comes that top line. Dan Ott making some strides up there. Jimmy Moore on his bumper, but Chase Berry going to get the momentum into turn 3 and clear himself ahead of the 3 wide behind for second. Aaron Bray on the bottom, Johnson in the middle, Dan Ott on the top as that middle line loses a little momentum coming off the corner. And here comes that momentum from the top. Dan Ott challenging for the lead going down into turn 1. He's got that 12 truck hooked up behind him. He's got a couple really good pushers right there on his tailgate.
Let's be waiting on those quivers coming from the back here, because this is, if the top line's going to work, we know the number's not 5. It's got to be greater than 5 trucks in order to get the draft that they need in order to make that happen. And there it is. Pops down to 5. What's going to happen? Is it going to fall apart? Bro's going all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack there.
Moore going to move down into the middle there. That's a big move out of Jimmy. I believe maybe that temperature gauge might have been pegged right there. I might have had to force his hand and get him out from underneath the 29 as here comes Robert Probst trying to make it 4 wide to the outside of Dan Ott. That is not going to help their momentum, Big Al.
Yeah, that high line is definitely going to start to dissipate here as these drivers are going to be looking for any way to cool those engines down as they can, and realizing, I think, that third line right now, at least at this junction in the race, is just appearing to be a lost cause.
Chase Berry still out in front. Aaron Bray, Wayne Garland, their leaders. But right now the action is in the middle of the pack as you see Dan Ott get sideways coming off of turn 2 after getting some help from behind. Robert Brobst in the 5. Coming away with that second place finish. Aaron on the inside right there is Joseph Cline, your winner from the sprint race, making some pretty good inroads there on the bottom. Just holding it on the yellow line and steady, letting the trucks in front of him move up and out of the way and doing it on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to be that leader. He has to be the one point of stability, and everybody else behind him, well, they got to figure out when they need to come up, when they need to go down, exactly whatever they got to do to keep those engines cool, because that's going to be the name of the game right now, is how cool can we keep this thing, because remember, guys, we've still got a lot of racing left to go here.
Garland in that 35 getting a big push from Jimmy Moore. Here comes that middle line as that third line has just about dissipated for the moment outside that top 10. That 35 right now getting a big push from Jimmy in the 12. Jimmy seems to be one of the best pushers out there at the moment as Garland takes away that inside line, pulls down in front of Chase Berry to become the new leader of the race there on the inside. But maybe he had done it too soon, Big Al, because here comes that 12 getting that push from the 32 to challenge.
You know, one of the things that I found when I talked to Mr. Man there in between the races is it's easy to get shuffled back, and that's the thing right there. So you kind of got to watch it, because if you start to move around a lot, guys aren't going to go back with you the next time or the next time. So it's a little bit early to be indecisive.
You saw that 84 almost making contact there with the 5 of Robert Bropes, who Big Al talked to in the intermission right there. And one truck blinking, that is the 5 right there. It's going to come back in a decent spot, though, in front of Johnny Rapp behind Laura Wiseman. It's Jimmy Moore getting a big push from Sean Johnson in that 32. Does he drop down to the inside? Not yet. He's going to stick with that middle line and the pusher that helped him get there in that 32 truck.
Two from the middle to the bottom.
Yeah, 3 actually, as Dan Ott also moves down to the bottom, and right behind them, Joseph Cline, your winner from the sprint race. Here he is up in the top 10, up top 5 already. 8 laps into this race, has moved himself from his 15th starting position up into the top 5. The big mover so far was Jimmy Moore, who started outside that top 15. He has taken his 12 truck all the way to the front.
That's something I believe everybody in the field probably took note of, how quickly those guys dropped down. Just letting you know, don't get your hopes and dreams put up there on that high rack, because they're going to fall hard.
And once those new trucks got to the bottom there, Big Al, that bottom line, it just kind of drove away from everybody else. As that 17 of Chase Berry wasn't long ago, he was the leader. Now he is up there on the top trying to get that run from Robert Brooks. But as you see it on the screen, that top line just struggling right now at the moment, as this whole top 10 is single file coming across the line.
Yeah, I believe that's definitely the best information you're going to get all night.
Not real close to each other as Jimmy Moore leads them off a turn 2. Sean Johnson still riding in second. Aaron Bray in that 11. He's going to move up into that middle line, but he's going to be by himself.
I'm kind of laughing at the one thing you said. They're not real close to each other, which is a problem at a drafting track.
Yeah, definitely a problem. You want to keep that momentum up, right?
Absolutely. You got to keep it sucked in. Because that bottom line, well, it's going to reconstitute. There's some guys up front that are going to start to move out. If nothing less, but to get a little bit of cool air across the nose of that truck, kind of help it out there, help it breathe.
This 4-5 truck, though, he has been working on the back bumper of Chase Berry, but now he's going to get a little bit of relief as Berry's going to try to push the 29 up into that's the 28. Got 3 of those ride the Dente trucks. A little bit of disorganization right there. Weaver got a hold of that yellow line. You mentioned it early, Big Al. That will make the trunk all sorts of funky, and it almost caused a big wreck right there.
It's just slamming around. You definitely got to be prepared for it, and you got to hold your mouth right. And I'm not trying to be funny on that. If you're unsuspecting when you hit that double yellow line, it could be a bad type scenario. But if you know it's there, if you're cognizant of the fact that it's there, then you're going to be a lot better off.
Here comes that 28-second line trying to make their way up towards the front. It's still Jimmy Moore, Sean Johnson, and Dan Ott making that bottom line work. As the 17 blinks a little bit, though, that's going to hurt him as Robert Bropes is going to get down to the inside of him, try to take away that position inside the top 10. Not the beginning of the race that Chase Berry needed. Started up towards the front of this pack and has found himself kind of flexed out of the top 5 and out of a strong position. Still a long ways to go here at Talladega.
Yeah, not sure if we got the fuel ratio per tank or not, at least how many laps per tank, but we're coming up on halfway through this thing. And so you've got to believe that drivers, at this point, they know who's with them, and they got to be trying to line up so they can all at least pit together at least on the same lap, if they're going to have any chance of staying together. That's what's going to be key here. You got to know who your dancing partners are, and you got to know where they're at.
Yeah, another thing that I'm starting to notice here on the stream are some of these shadows, and that temperature is going down at this racetrack right now. It's going to help the pushing throughout the pack.
One truck down across the double yellow. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely making it interesting out there. As we see a lot of trucks moving around. It doesn't seem like the handling is that good tonight with this fixed setup.
Well, I think these trucks are they're tight together and there's no edge, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the frustration of a bunch of guys that just can't get past each other. 14 truck right there seems to be just billowed just blocked in here by some invisible row of air that it can't seem to get past. Same story with the highlight.
Yeah, Cline trying to go 2 for 2 tonight on the plate track. That is a tall order to win one, never mind both of the races, but he's actually put himself in a decent spot in 5th position, kind of there on the bottom, just moved down in front of the 115 of Mike Thompson. Aaron Bray right in the middle.
You saw exactly what he did, though. As soon as he got the first opportunity, he dropped her down in that lower line, and that seems to be what everyone's doing at this time. The guys up high just seem to be just kind of doing their own thing up high for right now. As 28 gets a little wiggle there as he's pushed from the 5 of Robert Brost.
That was a big bump there from behind Robert Brost. And Big Al, I'm sure you know this as well. There's 2 ways almost to get to the front here at Talladega. It's to go to the top side, try to get a line together and work your way up to the front that way. Or you can hold it on the bottom and pick up positions when guys do move up to the top. And that seems to be what the 14 has done. He kind of stuck to the bottom throughout the early part of this race. Let those guys move up to the top by themselves and has benefited from it.
Oh! Almost got a little contact there from an unwanted visitor.
And Aaron Bray got into the back of Tom Wink right there. That was a big save out of the 28 truck as he's going to pull down to the inside as well in front of the other ride, the Dente 115 of Mike Thompson.
Yeah, you got those trucks flirting with disaster there, hitting that double yellow. You just hope that once you go down, the guy gives you enough room to come back up, because some of these guys are going to be a little stingy down there tonight. I guarantee you that. Second line, starting the middle row, starting to get built up a little bit, starting to get what it needs to get a solid run going.
And yeah, these guys, they were up in that third line, Big Al, and they moved down to the middle when it opened up, and that has really worked out for them. It's Robert Probst, Chase Berry, Johnny Rapp, and now Aaron Bray is going to be 4th on that outside line. You know that these top 3 trucks, they got some speed in them. If they can get up alongside of Jimmy Moore, they're really going to be able to challenge for this lead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If it doesn't work, you got to consolidate, and that's exactly what they did. Now if they can just kind of stay together, keep it from overheating, hold that line, and get at least 7 trucks up there on that top line there, that middle row, and might be able to make a run, because I'm telling you, the 12, once he sees them coming in the 32, they're going to bop up also.
Yeah, I believe the 12 and the 32 are going to be a little aggressive here once that top line does get there. But right now, it seems like they're stuck at around that 3rd or 4th position on the bottom, just not able to get to the front right now.
Waiting on Dan Ott. Dan is licking his lips there, and any opportunity he could get to jump up, that would have been his opportunity. Looks like it's going to pass him by now. It's going to drop solely on Sean Johnson. Of course, it's going to be Sean. When we get out of line, not able to hold it down. That's going to cost a lot of momentum.
Yeah, there was a big wiggle there out of Robert Probst coming off of turn 2 that kind of spat the 17 up out of line. And now 52 of Johnny Rapp going to fill that hole that Chase Berry left open. And he's going to be the one pushing Robert Probst. And here they come. That was maybe the change that they needed, a new pusher behind the 5 truck. And you see the speed difference right there coming off of turn 4. You're going to have a new leader at the line, Big Al. It's going to be that 5, Robert Probst. Where does Johnny Rapp go? Johnny's going to go to the top. The 5 is going to be able to get to the bottom in front of Jimmy Moore. Johnny Rapp, your leader about last time around, he was about 7th position.
Yep, and here it is. This is decision time. Is he going to stay up to that top in the 52? Is he going to come drop down too late now? Going to be side by side. Might lose everything that he had, but he's not going to let it go. Coming down the back stretch nose to nose, looking at it, making plans, my man, because he just needs some help right now. He wants to get the band back together, but he's only got 5 behind him. He's going to need at least one more if he wants any chance, and there's nowhere to go.
It's not there on the bottom. I mean, on the top, as the 5 truck was able to move down in front of Jimmy Moore. And, Jimmy Moore leading those laps right there, kept that engine nice and cool, and now he's in a position to where he can push that 5 truck and make some inroads there and get away from that top line. But for how long until that 12 truck tries to make a move around the 5? As the 5 gets a little lazy there on the bottom, that's going to open the door for Jimmy Moore. Jimmy Moore's going to stick that nose in there. That almost was really big up at the front of the pack, but they were able to navigate it and make it work.
And they're going to have to make it work just a little bit more, as Johnny Rapp's going to be wanting to jump down as soon as he possibly can. Going to give that 11 truck any breather room, because he knows that truck right now, he can cook an egg on his head. And there he is, dropping down to the bottom, giving that 11 plenty of room to breathe. They didn't leave him out there. He knew what was coming up, and he loves it, because now he's saying, guys, rally on me. Let's go, fall down. Let's get this thing. Green flag pit stops underway. Oh, got one truck hard into the wall. That's going to definitely major repercussions. Green flag still out.
He was able to glance off the wall there, not get anybody else involved. Though you know it, Big Al. There's going to be some damage.
That's like that glanced off of one of Mike Tyson's punches.
Yeah, he definitely hit that wall pretty hard. That's going to put that 35 on the back burner. He's definitely going to need a caution flag to try to put himself back into position. But these pit stops going nice and smooth. How much longer can this lead pack stay out, though? Robert Probst, Johnny Rapp, Aaron Bray, Laura Wiseman. I imagine they're going to be pitting awfully soon.
Absolutely.
And they might have the upper hand here with only 4 or 5 trucks coming in that last time around.
Well, you know,
to see, Johnny's going to have to force himself to come in and everybody else is.
Sometimes this is the problem. It's the chaos of getting everybody down that line slowed down at the same time. That's probably costing you more than maybe coming down with a smaller group of 4. Problem is that group of 4, we know they're only going to be able to go so fast here at Talladega. That's what we've seen with this setup. 4 is not the number. You got to have 5 or better if you want to cut any major time. But this is the opportunity right here to totally screw it up. Because remember, you drive for show, but you pit for dough. If you're not pit perfect, you can kiss it goodbye, buddy.
Yeah, pretty clean pit stops there for the 5 truck. 5 truck and
and 11's across. That might bring out a caution. I know you're watching that one. Caution's out at the most inopportune time. Holy cow, you could have waited until we've been married for 72 hours.
You gotta get that umpire on the replay. See the 11 coming up through the gears, leaving pit road. Maybe just a little too low right there. The bumps are pretty bad down there against the inside wall. Got that thing bumping. Shoots him up the racetrack. Caution is going to come out. Definitely not what Aaron Bray needed. Gonna check out another replay here. You see he's waiting for that pit stop, that jack to drop. It's got that first pit stall right there. As he takes off and gets going, just spinning those tires, ends up just getting a little much of those bumps, Big Al. Maybe too high in the wet rev range as well.
I think everybody's going to be lucky, though. I do believe there's going to be a considerable amount of wave rounds, as there are only 4 trucks that are yet to pit. And these guys, they're not going to have any choice but to pit if they want to try to stay conservative. But remember, 10 to go. It'll be 8 at the line. Cautions breed cautions.
And how close are these guys on fuel? I see that 115 going pretty slow right now, pretty far back behind the pace car. It's a big question if they can even get to the pit road under caution here, because with that yellow flag coming out, it almost forces them to do another lap around.
You better clutch it. That's all I can say, baby.
Well, your leaders right now that were up front when the caution came out had not pitted: Ryan Campbell, Mike Thompson, Jay Bast. Everybody behind them has already made that pit stop, and the leader of that group is the 14 of Joseph Cline.
Tom Wendt is also sliding down there. We got him in 28th place. Not sure. Let me see if I can take a look at the 28 truck. Okay, he's down on pit road, though, so he made it. Just waiting on these top 3 to see if they can make it around.
Looks like they're going to get there.
Hey, look, that's going to answer a lot of folks' prayers because with those three guys jumping down there like that, everybody's going to get to wave around.
Yeah, big surprise right there. The 14 of Joseph Cline coming back down pit road. Maybe he wasn't able to get the stop that he needed to get to the end, and that's going to cycle that 17 of Chase Berry to the front. Josh Coppernol, pretty good run out of him. He must have had a really good pit stop out of that 42. He's one of us, Big Al. He's one of our brother and does a lot of the commentating for these races as
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah, so we got maybe somebody to root for as part of our family.
Yeah, absolutely. What was his name again?
Josh Coppernol there in the 42, running in second spot.
Roger that. Be looking for Mr. Coppernol.
Yeah, he got lucky last year too at Daytona and missed a big wreck on the last lap and ended up coming home in a top 3 spot. Got the interview and really doesn't have that many stellar upfront runs on the road courses, so this is one of those opportunity races for him as these trucks are lining up for the restart. We're going to have 9 laps to go. Going to have a lot of wave rounds here as well, Big Al.
Yeah, not as many as I thought. So that's good news for the field. They'll get reconstituted really quick. Lights not off on a pace car. Those guys should have plenty of time to make it back around. They're backed up there. Something happened with the 17. He's awfully slow.
Yeah, I believe they might have just extended the caution by 1 lap to give those wave around cars more time to come down, catch the pack, get organized, and be in position to challenge for these leaders up front. We'll have 8 laps to go with this extra lap of yellow, and that's going to be teeing us up with a pretty exciting finish up here. Got a lot of trucks up here. Don't usually see up front in these races, mixed in with some trucks that have shown a lot of speed so far tonight, like the 5 and the 33, and even that 84 Laura Wiseman's been up front since the beginning of this feature race.
If only someone would have said that. Talladega, it's like a holiday weekend at the car lot, Everybody's going to show up. Everybody's got a chance to win. And people who never, ever would have imagined having a chance to win, especially on a circuit this big. I mean, everybody's got a chance. You got a chance. He's got a chance. Sue's got a chance. I mean, it is what it is, baby. It's Talladega. And that's the reason why I love Talladega so much, because you just got to be around the last couple laps there, and it'll change your life.
That's very true. Anything can happen in these positions, and we saw it coming towards the end of that feature race with a big crash coming to the line. And, we had a lot of guys outside the top 10 that finished inside the top 5. I think maybe we can give Chase Berry a quick holler real quick. Chase Berry, this is the boys up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got a copy. What's up?
Well, he saw you up front at the beginning of this feature race. Kind of got cycled to the back. Had a really good pit stop, it seems. And here you are up front leading this race, coming to the restart.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting so far. I mean, I'm really good on getting on pit road. I've made up a lot of spots. I got shoved to the back. Now, it helped me out.
Yeah, we've heard that passing is kind of hard and is a premium tonight. That might play into your hand, but what do you think you're going to have to do here over these final 8 laps to come home the winner?
Hope for the best and pray for hope for the best and pray, pretty much. Just hopefully everybody stays with me and lets me win. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe they will just all pull over and let you win, but I doubt it, Chase.
Yeah, hopefully. But, we can all hope.
Well, good luck to you. Any quick shout-outs you want to give before we get back green?
Oh, everybody for letting me run, and you guys putting a broadcast in, and everybody's running with us in payday. It's pretty fun.
Good luck to you.
Hopefully I'll talk to you all in a minute.
Yeah, hopefully we can get you towards the end of the race. Good luck, man.
All right, thank you.
Some quick thoughts out of your leader, Chase Berry, as he comes down to the line. 8 laps to go here, Big Al. Anything can happen, like we've been saying.
Yep. Pace car is going to be off and away, and now it's going to go back into the hands of the one and only Mr. Chase Berry. And it's time to go, Johnny, go. If you see the reference there for the other Chase Berry, right? I think. Is that right? Green flag out. 17's away. Giving Chase quick. 42 into 5. Dead heat between those two, not really wanting to know which way he's going to go. 5 trucks got dominantly. 42 comes back down into the stack. That high line now slowly getting together, but we got one truck there not decide where he's going to go. Looks like he's going to be shuffled out into the middle. That truck's going to be the 45 truck of Chris Winslow. Chris now deciding to go low, but look at what it did. We still got problems up top. Trucks bobbing and weaving. This is getting exciting. We're ready to get you in your high voice there, Sean.
I think so. We're going to have to pull out the James Watson high voice here for this calamity that's about to take place. A little bit of a staggered restart there with a lot of those wave around trucks having to stay single file there towards the back. But as you see it right now, on board with Johnny Rapp trying to get that push to the 77 in front of him with Brandon Carl. They are the first two up there on the top side. Jimmy Moore right there behind him. And we've seen this top line really make some inroads here on this second lap around after the restart. And here they come, working their way up alongside of Michael McCoy. Up front, it's still Chase Berry with the 5 of Robert Bropes there on his back bumper. Copper Knowles still riding in the third spot. Which one of these top three move up in front of that 77 and try to make an aggressive move to win this race?
I tell you what, they're going to have to worry about the guys up top because that's going to stall the guys in the middle. As you see right now, going towards the 45's calls, I mean, he's got nobody. The 77's calls, Brandon's got nobody really behind him. It kind of fell apart and left him really out there in a bad spot. And now he's hoping.
And Johnny Rapp going to pull up to the top there in front of Jimmy Moore. Joseph Cline going to get to the back bumper of Brandon Carl. That third line, we haven't seen much of it, Big Al, tonight, but we've been hyping it up, and I think it might play a factor here with these good trucks up there all lined up.
Good trucks in a straight line.
You cannot, especially with this many laps to go. It's going to be 5 laps to go next time around. The aggression is going to amp up, and the desperation is going to start sinking in as Michael McCoy moves up to the middle, and here comes Coppernold to the middle. He's going to try to get to the outside of Bropes, but the momentum's not there yet, but there is a big gap behind Robert Bropes right there. That's going to suck up this whole pack up to their back bumper.
I just got a call from an accident. He says he's just waiting on a place to happen, and I told him, well, I'm at Talladega, so he's on his way over.
Well, maybe we can make it into that white flag and get it all happening on that final lap as Coppernold loses that momentum. Chris Winslow going to be moving up into that third spot with help behind from Dan Ott. Dan Ott, another one of those aggressive trucks that we've seen so far tonight, is he's going to try to move up into the middle, but there's nobody there to help him as McCoy's going to get sideways. But here comes the help for the 29. It's going to be Joseph Cline in that 14. Oh, car in the
there
wall.
it is.
Walks around and up and over. Caution is going to come out. There is a big one here on the backstretch at Talladega. Started with the 33 and the 52. You're going to have a bunch of trucks involved in this one.
Lots to unpack.
See the 33 looks like maybe just a little bit of a bad bump. You see the 52 sliding around on his side. Going to want to ride on with the 52 here with the 33, I think, blinking in the middle of that. Get the onboard shot right here from the 52, just pushing the back of McCoy. It's a little bit of a weird bump right there, and it just flips that 52 machine right over. Jimmy Moore also involved. We saw Ryan Campbell involved right there. A good 6 or 7 trucks involved in this one, Big Al, but they might have plenty of time to get some of that damage fixed. Maybe except for that 52.
We spoke on that very thing. As long as he can get it turned back over, make it around the pit road, guys gonna have plenty of time to work on that truck to at least get it back out there race ready.
Yeah, everybody is up and running.
Maybe he might not be able to contend for a win, but he could definitely be present in the caution.
It's very true. And we're gonna have only about 2 laps to go when we get back green. Anything can happen, especially if you're able just to stick with the pack, as we see the 12 truck involved. Laura Wiseman also with some damage. Sean Johnson into 32 had a good run tonight. Not the ending so far that he needed.
I got a question. How many green white checkers do we have?
I believe they have one. We haven't really dealt with that so far in this series, but I believe there might be one teed up for us.
All right. if we might want to get whatever tools we need necessary to make that happen.
Yeah, I think it is. We might be teeing up for it, but I have some faith in these guys. I think we're going to be able to get around at least one time and get to that white flag. I got some faith. I know.
This is awesome.
A good show tonight.
It's almost like you're telling me you believe in, anyway.
Even Santa Claus.
Hey, whoa, come on now.
Sorry.
I didn't want to drop the bomb.
The Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch. There we go. That's what we'll call him. You believe in Sasquatch.
Yeah.
The white one or brown one?
The white one, I'm pretty sure that's the Yeti, right?
Yeah. Aren't they both kind of Yetis?
I believe so. I don't know. I'm not an expert in extraterrestrial beings most of the time. The Sasquatch, all I know is from like GTA San Andreas, things like that. I've yet to deal with one in real life, even being down here in the swamps of Florida.
I dated one back in 97, 98.
Lights are off on the pace car, Big Al. It's not going to be long until we get our answer. This is going to be a natural green-white checkered, 2 laps to go. Chase Berry, we talked to him. He's gotten the job done so far, but on his back bumper now is going to be a different driver. It's going to be Dan Ott in that 29, and we've seen him be aggressive so far out there tonight.
Absolutely, and that's going to be the key right now. Drivers going to have to just get up on it. This is going to be one opportunity where everyone's for themselves, and you've seen pretty much what everybody around you is going to do, so you know where they're going to go. You understand their flow. Some of these guys are going to hop all the way up top. They're going to get an open. They can come all the way back down. That's what you got to watch out for, because cautions, precautions, we got a good opportunity, at least for one more solid one on regulation. And let's see if we can at least try to avoid it.
If we're able to get to that white flag, though, all bets are going to be off, and it's going to be an Oklahoma land rush to the finish. Chase Berry looking to come away with a big win to start off the second round of this season. Robert Ropes, one of the favorites on these plate tracks on the outside. Behind them is going to be Ott and Winslow as the pushers. And then the rest of the pack trying to come away and be lucky and maybe survive at this point. Green flag is going to be out waving. 2 laps to go. It's going to be a good restart for Chase Berry. Not a good restart, though, for Ropes and Winslow on that top line. That 45 just did not get into the gas, was sleeping a little bit. That's going to make that top line suffer, as Berry's going to move himself back down to the bottom, which is now organized with Cline and Stoner behind Ott.
But they're going to have to get in line if they're going to want to form that freight train. And they got the makings of the freight train. And I could hear it coming. Here we go. That middle line getting regulated.
There's a little contact there between Ropes and Stoner. It's going to separate that top 3 from the rest of the pack. But is the pack able to get organized enough to catch these 3 up at the front? Chase Berry, Daniel Ott, and Joseph Cline. 1, 2, 3. Stoner is going to be the 4th place truck. And then there's Mark Royce moving his way up into the top 5 for the first time in this feature race. White flag is waving. Chase Berry across the line. Anything can happen from this point on. Who is going to come home the winner tonight?
You know what? Mark Royce with the best move right there. He put himself up to lead that middle line. Just waiting on some more trucks to come. If he's going to have one more shot at it, guys are going to have to stay in line if they want any shot at it. Royce gets his nose shot. Oh, and a switchback.
And Ott, that's going to be for the 2nd spot.
Oh, wow.
The Big Al, that switchback right there, that's going to be a big move.
Oh, contact.
For the 2nd.
Oh, look at that.
Out of the line, wrecking behind them. Chase Berry, the clear. Does Ott have the run? He's going to get a push from Royce. Gets
they wrecked.
Here comes the 44. He's going to get it done. Mark Royce, the winner tonight.
Oh, we're still wrecking.
Line comes across in 2nd. Stam Stoner in 3rd. You got to feel Berry there. He is going to be hurting after that one, Big Al.
Oh, they're still wrecking.
They're going to be wrecking for about 3 or 4 days after that last lap. That is for sure. Going to have to check it out here on the replay and basically dissect everything that has happened here on this final lap. As you see, they were wrecking behind it. This contact here between Cline and Ott really separated Chase Berry from the momentum coming from behind. It really slows down these two trucks, and that
He
kind of
fought back.
yeah, in a really bad spot. And here comes the push from the 44 to the back of Daniel Ott. We talked about his aggression. Got to the yellow line. Berry with a late block. And that is a typical Talladega crash. And what that does is open the door for the 44, Big Al.
Hey, look, like I said, you just have to be available at the end of this thing. And you two might get an opportunity. And the 44 shows just that. Patience. And he walked away just like he stole the thing.
He
Yes.
definitely stole it tonight. Top 5 for the first time coming to the white flag. Ends up coming home the winner. And was one of the pre-race favorites that we talked about, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. Who picked him?
I think I did, actually. I think I'm the lucky picker tonight.
Then it don't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count if it's me. I know.
Yeah.
See the burnouts taking place there for Mark Royce and that Harley-Davidson 44 machine. A big win for him. I think this is the second one for him on these plate races. Came away with a win at Daytona last year. And we're going to run down through this finishing order for you guys. The 44 of Mark Royce coming away as the big winner tonight. Started 25th on this feature race. Dead last to the front. Big winner, Mark Royce in the 44. Joseph Cline going to be coming across in second. A first and a second for the 14 tonight. I'd say that's pretty good out of a Thursday night running. Sam Stoner survives all the calamity at the end to come home in third after starting 26th. Sean Campbell starting 24th. You see 3 trucks in the top 4 starting towards the back, moving themselves up to the front. Sean Campbell comes away with 4th. Benson Weaver in 5th. Got 2 top 5s in both of these races as well tonight. Dan Ott coming into the tri-oval with a chance to win, sliding through the grass, coming home in 6th. Chase Berry, you got a feel for him, led practically the whole final stanza of this feature race. Come across the line in 7th, practically damaged up. Zachary Mitchell wrecked on the first lap here of this race, went a lap down, got his lap back, was able to miss all the messes on the final lap to come home in 8th. A great comeback for Zachary Mitchell. Laura Wiseman, one of the trucks up front throughout the night, coming home in 9th. And Sean Johnson, another comeback involved in that big one with about 3 laps to go on the backstretch. He's going to come home in 10th. Not bad.
Not bad at all. 11th place is going to be Jimmy Moore. 12th place is going to be Brandon Cole. And then 13th, we're going to have Josh Capernol. Big shout out to Chris Winslow in 14th. 15th place shows Johnny Rapp. 16th place is going to be Ryan Campbell. 17th place, Mike Thompson. 18th place is going to be Jay Blast. And 19th place, Aaron Bray and Robert Brost is going to round out the top 20.
21st is going to be Tom Wink tonight, not to run any of these guys needed. 22nd, Andrew White in the 3 truck. Jeffrey Schnackle involved in that first lap crash, going to come home in 23rd. Wayne Garland, we saw him hitting the wall on the green flag pit stop. He's going to finish in 24th. This is Steve Vest, also involved in that first lap crash, 26th. Michael McCoy, not the finish he needed out of the 33, involved in that big one. In 26 is going to round out your field tonight. And we're going to step away for a quick word from our sponsors, and we will be back with your post-race interviews. Welcome back to Talladega. We just had a pretty exciting finish here for the Road and Plate Truck Series, the Palm Brat Road and Plate Truck Series. I am up here sitting with our 3rd place finisher tonight, Sam Stoner. Sam Stoner in the 65. You got a copy?
Hello.
Well, Sam, time and time again, we have described you as one of the fan favorites in these races, and I believe this is the first time we've had you up in the booth. Congratulations on your third place finish tonight. How did you manage to get through all that last lap calamity to come home in the top 3 spot?
I don't really know. It's mostly down to just pure luck, man. I mean, we went from all the way back fighting to stay on the lead lap at all, and then all the way back up to running around probably within the top 10, and just put me in a good position to be in that position to fight through all that carnage.
There was a lot of carnage for sure. Describe your races for us, because you're kind of laying in the weeds there for that sprint race. Came away with a pretty decent finish, but here you are towards the end of the feature, up towards the front. How did tonight go overall for you leading up into that final lap?
I mean, it is when you are in that position we're in, you're detached from the main pack, you're just praying for a yellow. It's just all down to whether that flag comes out, because if it doesn't, you're probably gonna go a lap down, and then just one of you is gonna be marching around each time for the lucky dog. It's gonna be a long race after that, but fortunately, we didn't get caught, so panned out.
Yeah, well, you came away with that top 3 finish. I'd say you got that little caution that you needed, and you benefited from it for sure. Looking forward to the rest of the races on the schedule. We got Barber Motorsports Park next week. What can you say about Barber Motorsports Park, and how are you looking forward, and what do you think you can bring to the table for that?
It's a fun track. It's very there's a lot of elevation changes, so the trucks are getting pretty loose when you're out there. You're hanging the rear end out a lot through those corners. I don't know. I've done a few races there. I'm usually good at managing those big sort of sweeping type of curves, which they've got a lot of there.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. One of the lucky drivers to miss all the stuff on the final lap and come home with a podium position. Any shout outs or love that you'd like to give to celebrate that finish?
Family, friends, they tune into this race sometimes. My parents, my grandpa. Yeah, those are my people.
One thing I have to say too is you got a lot of supporters in our streams dating back to last year. You were the fan favorite time and time again. Do you think you can build off of that and maybe get yourself a following? We call them the stoners, obviously. all of your fans that are lying up there rooting down the 65 truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sam Stoner, your third place finisher tonight. I'm going to send it back over to Big Al. He is going to be with our winner, our second place finisher, Joseph Cline, not around at the moment in the channel. But I'm going to send Big Al. He's going to be able to interview our lucky winner tonight, Mark Royce in the 44.
Mark Royce, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
I got you, Big Al. How you doing?
Hey, man, probably not as good as you are right now, because I'm going to tell you what, if ever there were a lucky dog, you definitely qualify for that one tonight.
Yeah, if you would have asked me that midway through the race, I would have argued with you. But yeah, that was about as lucky as it gets.
So talk us through it. You go through this first heat race, and then they do the inversion. Then you guys line up here, and you got quite a battle. Where'd you guys actually start at?
I started dead last because I got wiped out in the heat race and blew my engine. By the time they got towed in, I was a lap behind. So I started last and lost the draft when a wreck happened in front of me. And we were just kind of cruising, trying to stay pace and stay on the lead lap. And I think the leader was about 2 seconds behind me when the yellow came down, and it saved my butt.
Praise God for cautions, right?
Yeah, I came at the right time for a change.
So then you guys were actually able to make it around during that caution. I think that would have been somewhere around lap 21, 22. And then talk to us after the caution.
I had a good run on that restart. After I stayed on the lead lap, I worked my way up to 9th to the next caution. And from there, it was just craziness, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, and I bet the view peeking over that stern wheel right there was probably nothing more than epic as you took the start finish line here at Talladega.
Absolutely. I was trying to push Dan to the win. I came out of turn 4 and I gave him a huge push, and we got the momentum, and they just got tangled up. Everybody's just going for it, and somehow I ended up in front of them.
Did you even could you possibly remotely think that you would be the one here tonight, the guy that brought it all home?
Absolutely not. Especially 3/4 through the race, I was still mired in the back of the pack, and I don't even know how I got up there. It's just like a blur.
Patience, sir, perseverance, and you were at the right place on the last lap. Congratulations, you won. And that goes down as a W no matter how you stretch it, no matter how you flip it, no matter how you throw it down. Mark Royce, you got it done, sir.
Thank you. I think that's 2 in a row on the plate races coming back from the end of last year, so it's looking good.
Well, yeah, that's looking more like a habitual thing. Hey, who you shouting out here tonight for your overall dominant performance here at Talladega?
Just everybody at Road and Plate, man. Racing everybody here is just so much fun. It's the best league out there, and you guys putting on a great show, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, appreciate you for giving us something to talk about. Congratulations again. As I always say, don't party too hard. And we'll see you next week.
All right, Big Al. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. That's Mark Royce, your winner here tonight.
Another fine interview there out of Big Al. We're going to take it to our point standings, wrapping up after what was a breathtaking race here at Talladega. It never disappoints, Big Al.
Nope.
You see the updated point standings right now. Joseph Cline still the leader up front. We'll have to catch up with him at the beginning of the broadcast next week. He's not around for us to interview him at the moment. Came away with a first and a second in these races tonight. Gonna hold on to that points lead after the win in San Diego. Mark Royce, the big mover up the point ladder right there into that second spot. 11 points outside in second spot. Chase Berry, not the finish he wanted coming across the line, but pretty big gains on the standings chart up into third. Jimmy Moore in fourth. Benson Weaver also moving up. Stan Stoner, Sean Campbell all moving up positions right here. What catches your eye here, Big Al, going into next week in Barber?
I tell you what, it's definitely going to be like jumping from the sauna into the ice pack, because this is exactly what it's going to be. Going from Talladega, where everything was about keeping you cool, to actually going to Barber, where you're going to be able to heat it up a little bit, especially if you can control those large sweeping turns. So this right here, what we're seeing, it's going to change even more next week.
Most definitely, and that's what these guys do week in, week out, one extreme to another, road coursing back to these plate races. So stick around. We're going to bring up the schedule real quick for everybody to check out moving forward. And Big Al, you have your expertise right here. I'm sure Barber's not that far from Talladega, probably within an hour, right?
It's definitely within an hour, probably more like maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
two definitely not too far from each other.
Yeah, not far for these guys to go. We're going to have a whole week to get there, so I'm sure some partying is going to take place, especially for your top finishers tonight. After that, we're going to be going on to the Daytona Oval for another plate race, and then Watkins Glen, which a lot of these guys should have plenty of laps around, with it being a mainstay on the NASCAR schedule. Then it's an off week for these guys, and then we're going to be moving on to the wild card race at Michigan, which is definitely going to be interesting considering it's just the one outlier on the schedule. Then it's the Portland International, which is a new track to the iRacing service, and definitely going to be a good show there. Talladega again, week 8. Then we're going to be going overseas to Australia to the Bend, which is also another new track on the service. It's going to definitely mix up the running order there. Going to cap it off with the races back at Daytona and our season finale at Le Mans. Any of these strike out and stick out to you, Big Al?
All of them, buddy. They're all different and unique in their own special way, and I'll be glad to get back here even at Talladega again. But in between time, I think it's going to be a season full of ups, downs, ins, and outs, and just overall exciting racing.
Overall exciting racing. That's what we got tonight. It's what we got last week, and it's what we're going to get next week again, as this series never disappoints. I thank all our sponsors: Palm Rat, the UNO podcast, Evan Pienta Designs, And thank you all for tuning in and checking out the Road and Plate Truck Series. I am Sean Signori here with Big Al in the booth. Cam Gillen's another great job behind the scenes. We'll have to check you all guys out next week here as we go to the Barber International Raceway.